Welcome to part two. We're joined by Andy. All right, Andy.
Aye, fine, pal. How are you?
I'm all right. Right, this KSI guy. I don't like.
Yeah.
I don't like him.
Nah, I want to see him smashed.
I want to see him getting iced. Too many of them are trying to play pantomime villain, but that Wayne Bridge carry on. Did you see it?
Nah, I saw that, yeah.
What do you make of all that nonsense?
Totally unnecessary, yeah. Just cringe, yeah.
How are they getting on mainstream channels here? Right, not even boxers.
10,000 people going to see them as well. It's a sideshow, isn't it? That's all it is. It's just a sideshow. But did you watch the Darren Till fight with Anthony Taylor, was it?
Yeah, what do you think to that fight?
Because I only watched, the only reason I watched it was because I wasn't doing anything else and it was on. I watched the fight before it, which I thought was awful. And I watched the Anthony Taylor Darren Till fight. It's actually all right. I thought as a fight, but they were both fighters. There wasn't any boxing skill about it, but just as a fight, it was all right. I had put a couple of quid on Darren Till to win in the fourth round, and it almost almost happened. But fair play to Anthony Taylor. He held in there, didn't he? He came back in the next round and stopped the sixth. But for that for that kind of thing, it was an all right fight, but it wasn't a boxing match, really, was it?
We're just Tilger now.
He's got to fight empty head, Tommy, empty head.
What did you
I'll
think to that? Eh?
put him in with Jake Paul, eh? Get Till the fight with Jake Paul.
What did you think to Taylor's performance?
I thought he surprised me. I thought he didn't just fold, did he? He came back, took his lumps. So he obviously he held in there. He wasn't just there for the money, I don't think. He showed a bit of pride, I think, trying to come back, but he was ultimately outgunned. He was too small, wasn't
Darren
he? Till
Till's
was
a crack, Darren Till.
he looked like he can hit. So fair play to Taylor for taking his lumps there, eh?
Yeah. It's,
I like Darren Till. I mean, I've only just come across him since that. I don't really watch UFC, but I came across him in that big mad press conference. I thought he was quite funny. I thought he was hilarious.
I seen him in a pub years ago in Liverpool, Darren Till. He had about 15 birds around him and about 25 villains, everybody kissing his ass. But you know what? I think he's all right. It's a pity he can't
uh,
get something going in pros.
he's a character, isn't he?
He can
So,
sell a fight, can't he, Darren Till? You got to give him his credit.
aye, aye.
What about his advisor, Big Joe Egan? Hey, we
That's his fighter.
Joe Egan, 20 quid, you get chicken curry and with boiled rice and a photo. 20 quid at Grindon Working Men's Club, Sunderland. They put plug on him, didn't they? Pop,
Aye.
pop, bang on that one, Big Joe, eh?
No
We
even
your
scampi in a basket.
stories about me, Mike, and Cuss eating meatloaf in the Catskills, prepared by Camille, Cuss's wife. Great days, Mike. Great days. What a load of old hogwash.
Pretending he's Glenn McCrory. He was the toughest white man in the gym, wasn't he? Glenn McCrory. I remember that story years and years ago. And he did spar Mike Tyson, Glenn McCrory.
I have heard a little rumour that Horsecock might be making a comeback if money's right in Turkey.
Is
Not
he?
on a Turkey show, sorry, out there. Yeah, Horsecock's putting his feelers out to do an exhibition for right money. Hey,
Go Johnny, go Johnny, go Johnny, go.
go Johnny, go Johnny, go go go. Johnny's gonna get Johnny looking to get out looking to get out of the house and give somebody a pounding. We what though?
Was he
Johnny
making a film
pounding
of it?
somebody. God, I bet they're sore after. Hey, when Johnny's giving you a pounding, you walk like John Wayne.
Johnny Ward, remember him?
Oh, Johnny Ward, yeah.
Johnny Ward. That was that. What was his name? John Holmes, wasn't
John, oh
it?
my God. Let's not go there. Uh, right, I'm going to put a few fights to you here and let me know what you think about these fights, Andrew. Let me know what you think. Give me a quick whip for what we got here. We've got half an hour. Right. Canelo against Crawford. What do you think?
It's an intriguing fight, and I don't mind it so much because Canelo is not like a career light heavy. He started off, did he start light middle, Canelo? So
Yeah.
he himself's come up through the weights, and he's what is he 5'8"? So he's maybe even shorter than Crawford, is he, or similar height? So physicality wise, I don't think there's as much in it as people are kind of led to believe. I think so. That'll be a good fight if providing Crawford's come up in weight. I don't think Crawford's stupid, is he? So he's a clever guy, isn't he? He's quite astute, I think. So I think that last fight he had, that was a tough fight against that. He's a tough guy, that last guy he fought. So that will stand him in good stead going into a Canelo fight, I think. So I'm no as against that as some people for these reasons.
Well, it's listen, this
Yeah,
is how I look at it. Right? I think Crawford beats him, mate.
yeah. Well, I'm kind of leaning towards Crawford. It's not like you're sticking Crawford in with Bivol or Beterbiev, is it? There's no the big size difference that there could be, you know.
Listen, right. This is how you've got to look at it. Crawford's a world champion at 154, yeah?
Yeah,
If he fights Kinlow, it's going to be 168. Yeah, it's another stone from him.
yeah,
It's not end at world because when you were a middleweight in the old fashioned days, you moved up 15 pound, didn't you, to fight at light heavy? Jake LaMotta fought at light heavy, didn't he? But he was really a middle, wasn't he?
yeah,
Ray Robinson fought at middleweight for years, didn't he? Then he went to fight at light heavy. So why is everybody going on about it? Canelo started his career as a light middle, didn't he? So
yeah,
not that big a size difference. I think people are losing their minds here. Canelo, yeah, he did win a world title at light heavyweight, but he fought a busted flush in Kovalev, didn't he? Really, who'd been
yeah,
knocked out, so who were an alcoholic. So it's not end of the world, is it? But I just think people are losing the shit over it.
yeah. I totally agree with you there because I don't. I certainly don't write off Crawford's chances. He's got as good a chance as anybody. And if you go way back as well, Archie Moore fought from light heavyweight to heavyweight, didn't
Who
he?
did?
Archie Moore, the old mongoose. He fought at the same time. He would have some fights at light heavy and some at heavy, so he was probably putting on stone and a half, 2 stone. I remember hearing a story about him. The Maoris taught him to like he had a plate of steak, and all he was doing was cutting up, sucking the juice out the meat and spitting the meat out. This was so he could make weight. He wasn't putting on any weight.
Well, I look at it like this. My money's going to be going on Crawford.
Yeah, I'd go with that.
People are talking about it like it's groundbreaking stuff. Well, what about Tommy Hearns and people like that and Ray Leonard? You know, Duran, all them lot. They all did that, didn't they?
Yeah.
You
And
know.
Crawford's a modern day great, I think.
Yeah, so it shouldn't be no problem to him if he's a modern day great. Well,
Yeah.
why are people losing the shit over this? It's not big.
If anybody can do it, he can do it, eh?
If anybody
That's
can do
what
it, if he's that good, crack on. Look at
yeah,
Usyk, he's taking on men 3 and 4 stone heavier.
yeah,
And people are saying, we can't make a case for Usyk, number one. Got to be Crawford. Why? You're fighting men half a foot taller and 4 stone heavier who are undefeated. And
yeah,
yet you're moving up a stone and the people are losing the shit. Come on. Do you know what I mean? It's craziness, mate. Absolute craziness. Uh, Moses Atome. They've not matched him yet, have they? People keep going on about him and that. Is he going to fight anybody with a heartbeat next? And I'm not
I
talking
th
Dempsey McKean because he was dug up.
they need to stick him in with Pulev, I think. There's no point in him turning pro to break Mike Tyson's record and then, oh no, we'll just take my time now. No, put him in with Pulev. That's why he turned pro early, wasn't it? So stick him in there and see how he gets on. I think I'd give him a good chance against Pulev.
Would you?
I think so. I mean, all the stories you hear about Atumo in the gym for sparring, everybody seems to rate him, don't they? I've never heard anybody saying he's no use. Eh?
Well, this is how I look at it, right? If he's that good, let's throw him in with somebody good. Throw him in with some of Dubois' leftovers if he's chasing a world title. That's how they bring him on.
Stick him
So
in with Dubois.
put him in with Dubois, why not? He'd take that fight in a heartbeat. Bricktop always used to say, I'd take that in an heartbeat. He always used to go on about if Carl Froch doesn't fight Nathan Cleverly at a catchweight, why don't Eddie Hills put Darren Barker in with him? Because he'd take
Yeah,
that
yeah.
fight in an heartbeat. I'll tell you why Darren Barker didn't take that fight. Because Froch used to smash him up in sparring. That's why.
So he knew. He knew.
Yeah, so he knew. But I look at it like this. It's boxing. It's the wild, wild West, Andrew.
And I agree with Turkey Al Sheikh. Folks shouldn't be so concerned about losing. If you lose a fight, it's not the end of the world. And that's something Peter Fury said many times over the years. Take a chance. Say if you get beat, you can come back. It's not the end
Why
of the
don't
world.
Peter take Okolie fight then if they're offered it for a Huey? Take a chance.
I
Or
think he should. I
Aaron
think he should.
Anders.
Yeah.
Or Moses Atome.
Yeah.
Why don't they take them fights?
I think he should.
Yeah, of course they should. Yeah, well, let's see if they're offered them. Or are they going to get offered them? But I'd like to see them do something with Huey now and roll the dice because we're running out of years here with Huey, aren't we? Let's have it right.
What the fear I've got, what will happen is the same as what happened to his cousin, the Gypsy King. I think you and I both said 2 years ago, time's running out. This kind of time's running away from him. His career's stagnated, and then he's fighting folk like Chisora and White. I know White was the mandatory, but there was better folk about there that could have been the mandatory, in my opinion. Then he fought Ngannou. He's just wasting time. He should have fought Usyk at least 2 years before he did, and then he would have given himself a better chance. I'm not saying I don't think he'd have beaten Usyk, but he's giving himself a better chance physically because he's not lived a life and he's letting his career and everything erode and slip away, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I'm not digging Huey out or Peter here, but they've had a rough ride. We're matching. Huey's an hard night's work. He's never been down. Right, can take a shot, and he's a mover, isn't he? So he's an hard night for anybody. So he's hard to match. He is. Don't forget, I worked with Dennis for 6 years, and you speak to matchmakers and people in the industry on a daily basis. And every matchmaker I spoke to is like, couldn't done out with Huey. Eddie couldn't done out with him. Bricktop couldn't. Mick Hennessy couldn't. They could. Well, Mick Hennessy actually got him a world title fight, and they wouldn't fight but got robbed. But hard to match. Very hard to match. Tough kid.
He's had a lot of bad luck, hasn't
Bad luck, but he's in good nick now. They're saying he's had 3 wins. So
he?
where's his flowers?
I
Let's
think I heard Peter in an interview say it's time to put up or shut up. That's what he said about you, yeah. Peter said that.
say what?
It's time for Hughie to put up or shut up. So I'm sure I saw him
That.
saying that. Peter said that in an interview, yeah.
Yeah, well, they've got to do something, and they've got to get something going with him because he's been parked up years, man. Well, what's
Yeah,
the best years? What's going on? You got to make time up here. Got to get
yeah.
something going here. Get some time made up here. Otherwise, it's what we're doing here. Do we just want to be known as boxers? Are people going to give him his day in the sun? He's got to have his day.
Mm.
So why can't they get him a fight? Why can't he be given a fight? Is it
No time like the present, eh?
is it politics because they don't get on with that shower over there, Bricktop and all them lot, and they fell out with Gypsy King? Is something going on behind the scenes? Why is he not getting his day? Why?
No, is he under Adrian Mole now? Because
Well, if he's under
he's
Adrian Mole, why don't he get him something going?
aye,
Or has he been told behind the scenes, listen, Huey's not to have a fight? Well, what's
that's shocking.
eh?
Well, hopefully Turkey Al Sheikh sees through all that kind of BS and
Yeah,
says, no, listen, I'm wanting him over here to have a fight or something like that. Eh?
exactly. That's right, mate. But it's got to be given a fight because it's not right what's gone on. And that is he can't pull out off because they got no dough.
No,
They're only
that's it.
small fry, isn't he? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not good. So what they've got to do, they've got to force issue with it. If I used to say Big Ron, how come we can't get so and so a fight? He said, well, listen, we're gonna have to force it through rankings.
Yeah.
And you got to beat somebody now. If Huey gets offered Okolie, right, you take that fight, wouldn't you? Because if you beat Martin Okolie, you're getting a world title shot, aren't you?
You're in the mix then, eh?
So you can get Okolie back then for cutting him with an elbow before Pulev fight.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, a few other fights here, Andy. Let me know what you think of these ones here. We spoke about Canelo. What about this one here? Ben Whittaker, Liam Cameron. What's going on with that?
That's got to happen, eh? That has got to happen.
What happened, hasn't it?
Or there's going to be a massive noise about that. Surely everybody will be up in arms if that fight doesn't happen. Excuse me.
Well, if they don't sort that fight out, right, it's bad for the game, innit?
And you know what fighter doesn't want it if it doesn't happen? Whittaker.
Ben Whittaker.
And if he wants people to stop calling him Whittaker, he needs to take the fight.
He needs to come out and answer some simple questions. Where's your X-rays?
Yeah.
Where's your
What are you
X-rays?
playing at?
Eh?
What is he playing at?
Well,
He's not a footballer, is he?
there's something not right, mate, isn't there? There's something just not right with it. There's something a bit smelly, isn't there, about something a bit stinky.
Yeah.
About that,
Whiffy.
eh?
He's needing some Febreze, sprayed on him.
You got Liam Cameron to win it if it's a rematch.
Yeah.
I have as
I'd
well.
also put a bet on a draw again in case they don't give the decision. I only put a bet on a draw the last time, which I won, luckily, because I thought Liam Cameron would beat him, but I didn't think he would get a decision on the cards. Bit like Dave Allen, eh?
Well, Dave Allen got shafted, didn't he, royally? And I think Liam did as well. They
Yeah,
both got shafted, mate. Absolutely roasted.
yeah,
And I don't agree with you. And that's the problem with sport, mate, you know. That's the
yeah.
problem with,
Disappointing,
eh?
disappointing, isn't it?
Yeah. What about Dillian Whyte? What's going on with him?
He's got a new album coming out, is he not?
Eh?
One for the ladies. he
Here's,
needs to they need to stick him in with Okolie just so Okolie can smash him out the game, and that's him away, done with, finished, finito.
what do you think about this one then? Lawrence Okolie and Joe Joyce. They were all agreed and ready and that, and Joyce has said no.
Was that who was going to be fighting on the 1st of March? He
Well,
said he's fighting on the
like
1st
it
of
were all
March, Joe
agreed,
Joyce.
didn't it? Joe Joyce Okolie looked like it were all a done deal. Joe G's on social media and is saying that it's not happening now.
That's disappointing because that's a fight I would have liked to see.
What, Joyce and Okolie? Two fighters at different ends of the careers,
Ah,
aren't they, really?
yeah, it's still it'd be an interesting matchup though, wouldn't it?
What do you think?
I mean, who else do you want to see Joyce in?
You what?
I'll stick Barry White in with Joyce. Sure, Joyce
Barry
would finish
White's
him off.
going nowhere. Barry White's going nowhere, mate. I don't think. I think he's parked up, mate. I think we all know that, don't we?
Ah, yeah, for good reason as well.
Hey?
For good reason he's parked up.
Well, this is how I look at it, Andy, right? Who's going to take a chance on him when he's got all them doping things on his record, right? Nobody's going to take a chance on Barry, are they? Big Baz. You know what I mean? In fact, we should call
That's it.
part one, Where is Barry White? Well, we should, shouldn't we? I mean, Dillian
Yeah,
Whyte's had plenty to say about years. Now, all these lickers we access who've been hanging out at back of Dillian Whyte for years and earning good money from views. Now they're not giving him they're not wanting to beat his door down to interview him, are they? Do you know
Yeah,
why?
I mean,
You've probably been told they can't, because that's what goes on.
yeah, yeah.
So it is what it is. Uh, what do you think, right, about Parker Dubois, really, Andy? Tell me.
I think it's certainly going to be a better fight than, well, more competitive. I'm not saying a better fight because I quite enjoyed watching Dubois and Big Meech, but and that's what I thought was going to happen. But I think Parker's a different kettle of fish. I think it's going to be a more competitive fight. I think Parker under Andy Lee is a smarter fighter. I think he's actually a smarter fighter than Dubois. Dubois has got youth on his side and he's got the power and that. But I just got a feeling Parker could maybe outsmart him for some of the fight. Could he stay away from the? But I mean, does I know Zhang dropped Parker, but does Dubois hit any harder than Zhang? Zhang's a big puncher, and he managed to overcome Zhang. I know Zhang's older and he's not as dynamic as Dubois, and he's tired down the stretch. But I don't know. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. Initially, when it was announced, I thought, Dubois is going to do him, eh? But the more I think about it, the more I see it as a 50-50 fight, actually.
Yeah.
Hmm. Could be a draw. It
Could be what?
could be a draw.
Could be something. What do you think to Oscar De La Hoya hanging out at the back of them in Saudi? We're all against it, weren't he, last year?
He's just wanting a fight with Eddie Hills. Hills.
Hill, got to say it twice now because other people who need the material, they start coming out with these Eddie Hills gags and all my other gags. So I've started saying it twice now. So let's see if these sheep follow.
So good they named them twice, eh? Like New York, New York.
To know, for by way of his dad's had a production company since 1980 when nobody had a camera and there's no footage whatsoever of Little Edward. Age what 19, he said. So 19. So that we'll be looking at 1998. There's no footage from him in a 90 on his reign of terror in 98 and 99. Eddie's reign of terror through the super heavyweight ranks. There's no footage whatsoever of Barry Hearn's only son with his amateur record. None whatsoever. It's a bit like Big John Fury with that 100-0 on hard road, 100 my way of the life's weren't worth living. Then I took a chase in the Sierra Cosworth, two T5 Volvos and an helicopter. I shook them off on M6. And then I had a fight with Irish champion, 100,000 knocked him out. Then I went to a beefer, big bag of drugs, loads of whiskey, 3 or 4 bottles, loads of shagging like a porn star, like Mick Jagger. Like, all in his book. Go and read it. Pop Pop Bang, 5.99 from all bookstores in the sale.
He's a legend in his own lunchtime.
It's not in the autobiography section, it's in the fiction section. Jane Couch, send me an email, bottom left hand corner. People need to text Jane Couch. Tell her to send me a number again. I lost my fucking phone. I miss you, Jane. I miss me banter with you.
She's a character, Jane Couch, yeah.
She's lovely, last Jane Couch. She's been on my channel. Jane Couch, MBE. If it weren't for her, there would be no women's boxing in the UK.
Yeah.
She will not be forgotten, even though the sport treat her like a mongrel.
Big up Jane.
Big up Jane Couch. Put some respect on that lady's name. Uh, Somebody keeps having a pop at me because I've said Mike Tyson's a convicted rapist. How dare I? So let's pretend that that woman lied and all them abrasions on her body and all that and all these big paw prints all over it. It's all bollocks. But what about Teddy Atlas letting a gun off next to his head because he's got his 11-year-old niece crying her eyes out after what Mike had done? Big bad Mike, Iron Mike, right? Big Mike, 16-year-old grabbing an 11-year-old, eh? You know what I mean? How dare I say out bad about Mike, eh? We let anybody in boxing, don't we? Killers, rapists, coppers, the lot. It's infested with them, innit? Sport.
I see that Ike Biabucci's might be coming back. 51-year-old.
What's he going to do? He's been at Nick all his life, hasn't he?
20 years or so now. He was a formidable fighter back in the day, but No, but he got up to some bad nonsense and all, did he? No, he got jailed for I don't know what the offences were, but I think it was pretty unsavoury.
Ron Lyle, a gang member.
I think he was, huh?
I think he was a blood, wasn't he?
Man,
I used to be
big Ron.
years and years ago when I finished that big stretch off. I finished it off in Featherstone Prison, and this guy came up to me. And every single day used to see me, Jimmy. He goes, "What are you saying, blood?" I used to think,
Blood.
"What a dickhead you are!" Afro comb stuck in his head. What's happening, blood? And all the time I'd ever heard it, I thought it was like a gang. I thought you were in some gang or something. And then I realised that there's Crips and Bloods, isn't there? I don't like that shit talk around me. You know what I mean? I was thinking, what's going on here? Uh, Listen, you think if they strip Parker at WBO interim for fighting for IBF, you think that's a good thing? And you think they're going to give it to Atome? You think BrickTalk will do that for PR? Try and get him as a young world champion and all that kind of thing.
It's not really legitimate. Like beating Pulev would be a bit more legitimate. I'm not saying it's totally legit, like 100%. You could call him the champion or anything like that. But I think it's a bit more legitimate beating Pulev than it is getting an interim vacant belt or whatever.
Yeah.
Didn't he want to be labelled Mr. Vacant Belt, does he?
Who like Tony Bellew?
I seen Big Tony on the Misfits thing getting interviewed, wasn't
Big
he? He
Tony,
was at,
Big Tony will do anything. He'll go to opening of an envelope. He'd love to get on that Misfits, Tony. He's itching to come back. I'm hearing back off people. He's running around saying he thinks he's still got it and all that. Like Big Tony will come back, for the right money, especially if it's Saudi. Yeah.
yeah, with a Saudi paycheck with his name in it. That's where
I'm
he'll be.
missing Big Tony. I'd love him to come back. I'd love him to come back just so I could watch it and hope he gets ice. You know what I mean? I'd love Big Mount to come back as well. Do you remember when Big Mount got put to cape?
Big man, I seem to remember him fighting years and years ago. Aye, aye. That'd be in the 90s, was it?
Hey,
Back in the 90s.
Big Mount got done by Dave Walker, didn't he?
Dave Walker, huh?
Dave Walker put
Spa-
him on button moon. Every time I get upset in my life or I'm depressed, I put that fight on YouTube. If anybody's feeling depressed, just Google Spencer Fearon versus David Walker for area belt. And it's actually, to be fair to Spencer, it's actually a good fight, actually. And if
Aye.
I had a boxing match with Spencer, he'd beat me because he's an ex-professional fighter, isn't he? But doesn't mean say I'm going to cry off from him, does it? You know what I mean? If he can get down to 11 stone, I mean, even go up to middleweight for him. Get down to 11.6, but I walk around that, and we'll get at it. It's no good you walking around, Spencer, at 15 clem because we have weight divisions for a reason. That's me get out. I've still got the contract he sent me. Do you remember that contract they sent me? Remember it? Him
You're
and
not allowed to call him names.
They sent me a contract saying he'll fight me and they'll offer me 20,000. I ain't got 20 pence between them, have they? They give me 20,000, right? And in this contract, I had Peter De Freitas dissect it on here. Rico went through it with me first, then Peter De Freitas, and he's a lovely fella, Peter. He knows his shit. And look at guy company he's mixed in, hasn't it? Aram, Don King, Big Top, earns a lot of them. And it basically won't worth the paper it written on. If I mentioned Big Malk on any social media platform, I will be liable for them to come after me for money and assets and stuff like that. Now, what sort of planet are they on them?
Oh,
Mal, what sort of planet is Big Malk on? Send
Mars.
contract for people who've never had a professional fight in their life, right? With clauses in. He probably didn't even put it together. He probably had somebody do it for him. Big Malk, that's why you failed with everybody's money when you set up Hard Knock Promotions. You remember that? Big Malk's company, Hard Knock Promotion. What? Yeah, what? All it was were Big Malk knocking people for money. That's all it was, wasn't it? Big Malk with your giant bins.
Stan Dubois put him in his place, so did he know? There's a Dave Dubois.
Hey, oh,
Dubois is old man. He put him in his place today, you know.
oh,
No,
Stan,
I was at thingy. Was it
Don
Dubois' trainer?
Charles.
Big Don, Charles, Daddy Don.
Did you see him other day in his interview with Big Mal? Oh, I love Don Charles and he loves me and we go way back. Don Charles don't even know you. He met you. He met you in a gym once and said hello, and you're running around saying you're related to him. Like that story that Big Mal tells, isn't it, about George Benton? You know the famous trainer.
Ah, yeah,
We were a boxer, wasn't he? 1950s. He's
yeah.
like he's supposed to be related to Big Mal because his uncle's sister's nana's dog had a cat or something like that. That ate a goldfish. And Big Mal walked by it in the street. Some like bloodline like that. Big Mal's related to them all, isn't he? Jack Johnson's his granddad. You know what I mean? Joe Fraser's his uncle. You know, it's bullshit, isn't it?
Big
It's
Malk doesn't have. He doesn't
make
have a
it,
family tree. Is it? I'm saying
hey?
Big Malk. Big Malk doesn't have a family tree. He's got a family forest.
Yeah, it's just knackers for the sake of it. All that brother from another mother shit. I don't want to listen to all that nonsense in my company.
Oh,
I don't. I
and
don't buy into that shit.
he was sooking up to Devin Haney's old man the other day. I noticed in an interview. He must have walked into the wherever they're getting interviewed. Hey, 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 hey. And he's fucking bringing him over. Just fucking nonsense, eh?
Well, it's
Absolute
one of
nonsense.
them things, isn't it, mate? It's one of them things. But listen, Andy, we've had a laugh, haven't we, tonight? We've had a laugh.
Ah, good crack.
I'm going to mix it up for the next few days and change it all up a bit. We need to give Puppy Parsons his flowers, though. He looks smart in his suit, doesn't he?
Is he
Bless
all
him.
suited booted?
Suited and booted, asking questions that he's told to ask. Not allowed to ask any he wants to ask. My problem with all these guys is AD Alapido, Puppy Parsons, people like that, Super Bean. They've got YouTube channels and they're employed in the media in boxing. And I think it's a conflict of interest. And I don't think it's right. I'm not saying I'm not stopping them earning a few quid, but they're not going to go on their own channels and ask proper questions, not when they're being employed by the big fellas. So that's my only problem with it. It's like being a police informant and a drug dealer, isn't it? Want it best of both worlds. I don't agree with it.
They
So
need to they need to think for themselves and be their own men instead of being sheep. That's what they're doing, following the flock, aren't they? They need to break away, do their own thing, think for themselves.
yeah, I agree with you, mate. I agree with you wholeheartedly, Andrew. Okie dokie, okie dokie. Well, you take care, mate, and I will speak
Yeah.
tomorrow. And send me a couple of them if you get. What's that? Book fast.
But that's a belated birthday present from my pal Big Dave. So I've got to make a video drinking this. I've never tried Buckfast before.
Buckfast's for people that are scruffy cunts who've got no money. That's what they
They've
drink.
got they've got it in a brown, usually a brown paper bag, don't they?
Well, that's what it is, isn't it? It's for tramps in the street, mate. Buckfast. When I get Andy, I'm a bit disappointed. I thought you had Grey Goose in there.
I've got Grey Goose there, so I've got good stuff, like, but I've got to try that. It was like,
It's for serious swillers. That it's that it's that that Chris Smedley's tiling grout man that mixes it is called Apple Tree because he drinks White Lightning all day. All that
cider,
cider. Now is that wine that or cider?
That's tonic wine. I think it's something between port and cough mixture. I think that somebody's told me that. So
Yeah.
it's I'll find out, let you know.
Okay. Right then. You take care, mate. One piece out.
Okay, mate. All the best. Take care.
Right.
Cheers.
Yeah. Well, that were Andy. Women loving men want to be him. And he's not from Aberdeen, by the way. He's from Puh. Okie dokie. Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. We try and make it funny on here, but like I said, if anybody's got a problem, you need to get out more. Go smoke a spliff or go pull a bird. All right? Come from behind your computers. Stop making out that you're somebody you're not. Pop, pop, bang.